Trav, what are you eating like? What is your diet like? Could you please make a video on your meals? Yeah, I'm gonna do that. So I'm making this video because some of you guys requested it and it's simple and maybe you can learn something. So let's get into it. But first of all, for me, I'll tell you I'm healthy. You can kind of judge me, but I aspire to be as healthy as I can. And I feel that I am a beacon of health, and I feel that my diet is an important part of my fitness. So I do that because I believe that we're given our body by God, and as stewards of what we're given, we're supposed to be as healthy as we can. And that means getting good sleep, getting good exercise, getting plenty of sun, taking care of ourselves, and of course eating a healthy diet. So welcome in, much love, Trav here. I assume you know me. If you don't know me, I'm an adventurer, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm living out here in Hawaii. Today, Sunday, a little bit of work, but a lot of exercise in the morning. Went for a swim, went for a bike ride, went surfing, ran down the beach, hanging out with my dog here. So I'm gonna show you what I'm eating and then explain some of the theory behind it. And I will tell you before I show you my fridge, one of the things that makes me different from most diet influencers out there, people giving diet advice, is that I've worked in agriculture for a number of years. I worked growing organic vegetables, organic fruit, and also pastured livestock. I was involved in raising, butchering, slaughtering, preparing mostly sheep, but yeah, so I have a background in agriculture, and I know what the reality of it is, and what it looks like. So let me show you the fridge. Let's get to it. Before we get to the fridge, there's my little outdoor cooking area. There's the kitchen. There's the backyard, chilling with the dog. Blessed to have such a nice space, be able to afford it. Propane, and yeah, so I eat my meals. If I have guests, I've got a friend over for dinner tonight, we'll eat down there, but otherwise eat my meals right here. Okay, let's get to it. So let's look in the fridge and see what I have. What's on the side? Basically nothing. I don't recommend Shilajit, but I have it. I don't have anything against it, it's just not important. So what do we see here? We see fruit. We've got dragon fruit, a little bit of citrus, we've got papaya, we've got mango, we've got a pineapple, we've got longan, banana, and we've got a lot of yogurt, and we got cheese, and we have eggs, cheese and eggs, and we'll get to the fridge or the freezer in a moment, and then we got meat. Oh, I'll show you the freezer. The freezer, steak, ground beef. I got a salmon, different cuts of meat, mostly ground, but a lot of different cuts of meat. Frozen berries, and for the dog we have raw meat blend. And then on the side, there's stuff that I don't use here, but I have ripening fruit, and I have honey. So essentially, at home, my diet is 100% animal products and fruit. I don't eat any vegetables, and we're going to talk about why, and also talk to you a little bit about my meal schedule. Okay. So I'm not going to go into so much detail on this because I have other videos on this. There's one about why I quit eating vegetables. But if you look at the actual literature, to me there's not that much evidence that eating vegetables, and especially grains, are good for you. Anecdotally, I'm around this space where there's a lot of women who don't eat meat, and I see they have a lot of health problems. And the men who eat clean and eat meat have a lot of virility. There's not any interventional evidence for me that meat's bad for you. I study the blue zones. The blue zones actually convinced me that meat is important because the longest living men in the world are shepherds in Sardinia, and they try to say, oh, they don't eat that much meat. They eat a lot of animal products and meat too. But really, for me, it comes down to my experience with my own body, but my experience on the farm, where I believe that, and this is true, so much of our nutrition comes from the soil, because so it matters what kind of forage the animal's eating. It matters what's put into the soil when you're growing fruit or you're growing vegetables. And with vegetables, even on an organic farm, you're constantly tilling the soil with a tractor, harvest, till, replant, harvest, till, replant, and it's a strong word, but it's really raping the soil of nutrients. It kills all the worms, bugs, erodes the topsoil, hugely damaging, disrupts all the rodents, the reptiles, the birds that are in that area, and over time, it turns the soil to like a dry dust. And even if you're organic and you're adding animal products, you're adding fish and bone meal, you're adding compost, but it's really hard to keep up. And so what it means is the vegetables don't even have a chance to have that much nutrients in them because the soil is poor. Where if you do pasture grazing with animals effectively, it's super good for the soil because they're manuring and they're peeing as they go, and they just keep on going, and it enriches the soil. Same thing with the orchard. The orchard becomes home to birds, which add manure and all kinds of ecosystem of animals. And whether it's you're doing animal agriculture or orchard agriculture, you don't need to disrupt the soil but one time. You might need to plant forage once for animals. You might need to plant the tree once, but then you're just letting it grow. You aren't coming in and tilling the soil. And you just dig under a tree and see the soil, or dig in an animal pasture and see the soil, assuming it's grazed reasonably well. And you go and you look at animals, or you go and you look at the soil from like carrot field or salad field, and it's trash. And then I just found personally that part of it was paying attention to my digestion. Since I removed the roughage of eating a bunch of leaves, my digestion improved a lot. Like, I have solid poops instead of gross diarrhea, loose stools all the time. When I was eating tons of vegetables, it was just always loose stools. I took allergy tests, and I'm allergic to all kinds of tree plants, pollens, grains, but not any kind of fruit, not any kind of meat. So that was a light bulb moment for me. There's more. We could also look at just the theory here of if an animal doesn't want to be eaten, it will run from you. Usually it might attack you, but usually runs. If fruit wants you to eat it, right? It's like, yo, I'm gonna make it red or yellow and smell good. It's because you're gonna eat it and you're gonna spit out the seed, and it's gonna propagate, right? Plants don't really want you eating their leaves and their roots most of the time, because it just disrupts them and doesn't help them in any way. So they put a lot more defense chemicals in them. And I've heard stories. I met this girl who was like, yeah, I was vegan and I ended up in the hospital with kidney stones because of all the oxalates. Like, I've seen so many stories like that. 24-year-old chick's hair is falling out. It's like bad skin, needs iron shots. Maybe you should eat animal products, right? So I kind of it was working on the farms that taught me this stuff. And then, yeah, I mean, the last thing, like, just understanding studies, the difference between an observational study and an interventional study. An observational study is just correlation and looking at surveys of what have you done with your life. And an interventional study is this group eats meat, this group doesn't eat meat. Double-blind controlled, we'll see what happens. There's not really any studies like that. So there isn't a lot of really rigorous, good research, honestly, on diet out there. It sucks. I guess it's hard to do it that way, but Most of the studies are observational, which a lot of it can be disregarded for that reason. So yeah, understanding how to interpret studies is important. Oh, meat's bad because this study, the people who ate meat didn't live as long. Well, that might be true in that study, but did you take sick people and put them together and feed one of the groups meat and one of the group, right? So just a survey. People demonize meat and have said vegetables are so good. So people who are trying to be healthy will swim and run and get good sleep and be sober and eat vegetables. And people saying, hey, meat's bad for you, don't care when they're riding motorcycles and smoking and drinking and so on. That's why it's correlated in the observational studies. But it really seems that things are swinging back around where people are realizing, like, yo, pastured meat is super healthy for you. It's one of the best things. Obviously, I eat a lot of eggs. I eat a lot of dairy as well. Yeah, what else can we say here? I eat 2 meals a day. Each meal is usually animal products and then yogurt, honey, fruit bowl. So I do that twice a day. And yeah, I feel good. I know that I look good. And I'm not here to tell you what to do. You're on your own journey, but this is what's made sense to me. And I'm happy with the results. So appreciate you, much love, and look forward to talking to y'all soon. Peace.